Hello and welcome to Stocks to Watch, where we shed light on promising investment opportunities. I am Munir Barazi, your business analyst and host, and today I'm talking with Saf Dhillon, the president and CEO of iMetal Resources, a Canadian junior explorer with a diversified portfolio spanning gold projects in Ontario's Abitibi Greenstone Belt, adjacent to the world-class UB deposit, and a newly announced intention to make an acquisition in central Bosnia. Hello, Saf. Welcome on the show.
Hi, Munir. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, recently, iMetal Resources signed a letter of intent to acquire a concession in Bosnia, which covers an area of approximately 0.97 square kilometers. What attractive factors or attributes about this property justified your decision to pursue it?
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Yeah, Munir, I think it's really pretty simple. Antimony, as we know, antimony, tungsten are two of the I think most sought after critical minerals. This is antimony project that actually has a historical resource. It's non 43-1 compliant, but again, still, it's a known historical deposit. I believe there's been some mining on it. It's in a great region. I think in Bosnia, very mining friendly, infrastructure is in place, easy accessibility, and I think it just really had a lot going for it. But the main thing again being that has a historical resource and some pretty good numbers actually, if I might add.
All right, and let's talk about the macro environment. I mean, the property seems promising in itself, but you oversee projects in Canada, and now this is uh, not a shift, but now you're focusing on a new location as well, Bosnia. How do you see the regulatory environment there? How much support do you expect from the government as you move forward and advance this project? Uh,
Okay. I think I heard a couple of questions in there, Manir, but first off, I just want to say that, we still are focused on advancing Gowganda West, our highly potential gold project right next to the Juby. Again, we share a border with it. And the Juby, of course, has just been in the news recently. It looks like it's changing hands. And it looks like there's potentially going to be some development or activity on the project itself, which we obviously then want to make sure that we want to keep advancing Gowganda West. Coming to Kremenica, sorry, I'll learn how to say it, the project in Bosnia that we're looking at. Again, historical resource, 300,000 tons of, I believe it's 4% antimony, which for the average viewer, like I didn't know myself either, but 4% antimony is equivalent to roughly, say, 18 grams of gold per ton. So this is pretty good grade antimony. You're talking about the region again, Bosnia, Croatia. This whole region, I think, is very mining friendly. Probably one of the most well-known or recognizable transactions that has occurred this year is a similar type of a project, antimony based. Of course, it's been developed over a number of years. Just got taken out in a large transaction by, I believe it was Dundee. I think it was a $1.2 billion transaction. So infrastructure is there. The means is there, the money is there, support is there, governmental at all levels, and it looks like the minerals are there, and we've got an opportunity here in front of us that we couldn't refuse. So hopefully this we can close on this transaction and move this project forward as well.
Yeah, sounds like a positive environment to be operating in. And you mentioned promising numbers on this property. The Bosnian concession has historical estimates of antimony, zinc, and silver. So, what is your plan for validating and upgrading those figures to NI 43101 standards?
Yeah, I think the first thing that we got to do is, we have to get to a definitive agreement, and we're working on that. We got to complete our due diligence process. We're doing that. We've had an independent geologist visit the property, do some sampling. Tim Henneberry, a fellow director, who's a geologist as well, QP, and myself actually have just visited the property. I'm actually just returning from Bosnia. And so this process is well underway, and we probably think we're still maybe 30 to 60 days away from coming to a definitive agreement. And I think probably one of the first things that we'd like to do is get some airborne, some geophysics done, some IP, and ultimate goal then would be to put some drill holes in this and verify the historical numbers that you see here, that 4% antimony. So it's going to be a bit of a process, but I think everybody's excited that we can continue moving forward once we get to this agreement.
Absolutely. And let's talk about financing. At the end of June, you announced a private placement offering. How is that
Yes.
progressing? And how do you plan to allocate the proceeds?
Yeah, it's progressing, as we all know, in the summertime, most people are away, but we've been able to close one tranche, 1.5 million Canadian, and we're following that hopefully here real quickly with the second tranche. And then the funds really, I think as I indicated that, we do plan on spending some money, of course, going back into Gowganda West, following up on that first phase of drilling and move that forward. And then, of course, as we come to an agreement on the antimony project, we'd like to put some money to work there as well. But of course, preliminary work would be, airborne geophysics IP. So majority would probably still go towards Gowganda, but of course, completing the antimony transaction and some preliminary work prior to drilling.
And speaking of Gowganda and your other assets in Canada, you do have an impressive portfolio of assets there in prolific locations. Can you give our viewers a status update on those properties?
Um, yeah, really, I think Ghost Mountain and Carhill are, they're kind of on. I don't like to use the word maintenance. I mean, we've had enough money spent on the properties that the claims are in good standing. Um, at some point, I think we will put some more money back into graphite. The Carhill property in Quebec, we had some interest before prices fell off with some international groups actually about potential partnerships. So, as we get back into the fall months, I think we'll start seeing some more activity on multiple fronts for iMetal, but specifically, I think you'll see Gowganda West and hopefully this new antimony project really start to get some steady news flow. So that's where I think that's probably going to be the order, and then of course at some point we'll get some work done on Ghost Mountain as well.
You're working on many fronts and leveraging as many opportunities as you can. My last question to you is, what makes iMetal Resources a compelling investment opportunity today and in the long run?
Yeah, again, it's very unique. We've got obviously great location. We've got, meaning all the projects are in a great location. Gowganda West, right next to a multi-million ounce well-known deposit in the Juby deposits, which looks like it's now going to get developed. And then, of course, this potential new antimony project. It's again in a region that's proven to be successful, specifically in, obviously mineral rich, but specifically in antimony with that recent $1.2 billion takeout earlier this year. Adriatic Metals, I believe it was, and it's a great project. So I think it's really a compelling story on the project front, and then of course the cap structure. Currently, we only have 25 million shares out, and again, management insiders own close to 80%. Very, very tight.
Yeah. Can you elaborate on the management's capacity and expertise in leading such projects to success?
Yes, I can't leave that out. I've been involved, of course, in the industry for about 20 plus years. Was involved in the very early days of my career with the geothermal company, helped grow that from about a $2 million market cap to its peak of just under half a billion US. And of course, teams rounded up by Tim Henneberry and Scott Davis, both who've been in the industry for 20 plus years. Tim's been around for actually about 47 now. He's actually worked in mines himself. So I think our team is pretty experienced, very successful. And then, of course, we've round out the board with an advisory position of Rob Scott, who is a well-known CFO. He was actually CFO and part of the management for the Great Bear, one of the most well-known discoveries in Canada within the last decade. And he's a great advisor to the company. So we've got locations, got cap structure, and we got management. So sometimes you go with the jockey, which our management team, I guess you could say, or me specifically, and then the horse. But it looks like we might have two potential horses in this race.
You do tick a lot of boxes here, and sounds like a great team at the helm of this company, which should inspire a lot of confidence for sure. Thank you so much, Saf Dhillon, the president and CEO of iMetal Resources. Thank you for being here today and sharing all of those updates, and we look forward to seeing you again very soon.
Munir, thank you for having me as always. Talk to you soon.